Got all new ignition locks come through, which is nice. I'm going to have a go at replacing the ignition barrel. If I can make my way over there, there's a lot of crap on the floor of this thing. Right, no seat. I have to kneel down. One ignition barrel. Looks like it was a brand new barrel. Take all this off, of course, because we don't need that on. Careful not to damage it. This thing's kind of important. Without that, all your van will do is just crank over and never start. That's a big inductive loop antenna. Very important bit of kit. Okay. Now, to get this thing off, it uses, annoyingly, snap-off bolts, which, as you can see here, if I can get them out of the way, that's from when I repaired the the wipers, because they were knackered. As you can see here, look, it uses snap-off bolt heads. I've got the original one over here. Let me just get that out of the bag. Sorry, not the original one, the new part. Snap-off bolts. When they get to the required torque setting, they shear off and make it so that thieves can't undo the steering column, you know, to get the steering lock off. Well, that's all well and good, but if you want to replace the locks in this kidder, you've got to somehow figure out how to get that open. Now, the easiest choice is to get a slitting disc and just slit the heads of the bolts off. You could also, if you really wanted to, get a chisel and a hammer and just hammer here, break open this bit of cast alley. Again, it's easy enough to do. It's not very durable stuff. I've snapped quite a few steering locks that way. Not that I'm a thief or anything, but let's just say I've done a lot of lock changes before. Another thing you could do, I suppose, if you really wanted to, you could try and weld a nut on the end of that, I suppose. We're going to try and do the old school method of just knocking it around with a chisel. Or maybe a centre punch or something. You can see it looks like someone's already done this before. Someone's had it off. We'll see. Let's see how it goes, huh? Try and find a hammer and a small chisel. There'll be one around here somewhere. Okay, that was pretty easy actually. As soon as you get one turning and you can wiggle the actual whole barrel around, I've not tightened this up yet, so as soon as you get the barrel doing this, you're pretty much laughing, because all you do is you just grab hold of the back of the screw, you just keep turning it. You know, the threads part, because the threads do stick through these when it's all tightened up, that is, anyway. One thing I suggest you look out for with these guys, your plugs, they're going to be different. This is the original one for the van. Two different plugs. It's not really a problem for us because, yeah, can soon figure that out, but I'm hoping it's just going to be a matter of matching wire colours to wire colours. If not, I'll figure it out. It can't be too difficult. Just get the multimeter in there. Good old crimp connectors, that's what I'll use. Should be easy enough. Okay, what else? Let's see what else we need to do. Oh, I took the blower motor out as well, clean out the whole of the inside of this ducting. With this van not having a pollen filter fitted to it, the inside of the ducting inside the dash was absolutely filthy. I mean, we literally just got the hose pipe and ran it through inside, all inside the ventilation on the top. This is where my phone is and the box. Blasted it all out. If it's anything like my old Fiat Panda, which also didn't have a pollen filter in it because obviously it was an old car, the only thing that did your filtering, as crazy as it sounds, was your heater matrix. Of course, that is quite a fine radiator that the air blows through a heat exchange system. When I took the one out of my old Fiat, which okay is 30 years old, but had done, well, a quarter of the miles this thing has done. That car only covered 40,000 miles. This thing's covered 130,000 miles. So that thing was absolutely full of feathers and grass seeds and sycamore seeds and leaves and all sorts. Just lay on top of the filter, you know, on top of the radiator, all stopping air from getting through it. So I think I'm going to pull it out the dash. We've already got the dash off. As soon as you get the dash off, and the heater matrix is right there. There's just some funny, well, looks like 5mm screw bolt heads holding the thing in, plus the annoying looking whatever the hell they are. They're not. They don't look like thingies to me. They don't. Screw type hose clamps. Thankfully, I've got some screw type ones. Replace those with just standard Jubilee clamps, you know, the hose clamp things, worm drive clamps. Yeah, do that. Flush that out for what it takes. It's already there. Not going to bother replacing it. It doesn't leak. It looks quite clean on the outside. We'll see what the seals on the along the inside of the rad looks like. The heater matrix, sorry. If they look corrosion free, we'll keep it. To be honest, it's not much of a horrific job to actually change that. It's just more time consuming because there's so many screws that hold this dashboard in place. So many. The dashboard is actually stored up here now. Most of it anyway. Remainders. Actually, where the hell is it? Oh, it's behind the sheds, I think. Just chucked outside behind the sheds, open to the elements. Doesn't really matter that much. It's it is a thingy at the end of the day. But just a bit of plastic. There's no electronics in there. Well, there's some switches in it for the centre of the dashboard, but they are absolutely toasted. They don't seem to work properly. Whether I can take them all apart and clean them up is one thing, or just replace them for what they are. They're only simple momentary switches, so all connects to the body control module, which I think is that unit down there through the steering wheel. I don't know, I've not looked at the part number for it yet, but I think that's it. Down there somewhere. Airbag module in this thing sits just in front of the just underneath that carpet, which is yeah, that's running around inside this van somewhere. I did move it out the way a few times. Not too fussed about the airbags. We don't really plan on crashing the damn thing as long as the light doesn't go on. And if obviously the MOT requires the light to light up for a few seconds when you turn the ignition on, you just wire it into a little 555 timer circuit, don't you? It's naughty, but at the end of the day, the only airbag this thing's got's the driver's one. You're only hurting yourself, I suppose, if you don't have one in. Well, I suppose it also controls your pre-tensioners as well for your seatbelts. So yeah, probably a good idea to keep that working. We've got all the cables still, and for what it takes, we're going to put it back in again. I was looking at, well, I was personally looking at maybe moving the handbrake to sort of this side of the van. You know, like how you see it on, well, is it Renault vans? They've got the handbrake here. It won't be too hard to do, I don't think. Then you'd have more space to get through from the back into the front. It's only just bolted through the floor. It's not bolted through anything structural. It's just bolted through the sheet steel floor. Only downside is you have got the cab bushes in the way, the thing that hold the bushes down. But I tell you, if ever they were to fail, I'd just weld them solid. The chassis and the cab of this thing are never going to be separated, so I'd just replace them. Take the bolt out if the bolt is a solid thing, and just weld the things up solid. I'd never bother changing the cab and the chassis. It's way too big of a job. And at the back anyway, they just bolted down solid straight to the deck, so you know, the hell does it need bushes for? It's just to stop engine vibrations, I guess, but who cares about that? It's a diesel. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. In fact, I used to have a diesel car, and I actually turned the idle down to make the engine vibrate that little bit more, so the engine was a lower tick over. Just because I love the feel of a low rumble of a diesel engine. But I'm weird. I'm pretty sure most of you comment on that and say, yep, he is. I'm weird, I do like diesels. Nothing quite like a diesel engine. Alright, enough talking, let's do more work.